Ugh. Talk about close call. Holy shit. Last minute the headphones go out. All that testing, it never fails. At the last minute, shit will happen. But I think we're doing all right. So far, so good. Get ready with the music, because I don't know what it's going to sound like with this. Because if you remember, the music used to get piped through the mixer. So we're doing this a little different tonight. Hopefully everything will work. Okay, everything's looking good so far. I just hope the volume isn't too loud. But we're back to the old days. Remember this headset? Yeah. Everything from back in the old days. Now all we need is an audience. So far, no live audience. I hope I didn't do all this for nothing. Oh. 702. 702, and nobody's here yet. YouTube currently. Oh, that's all I need now. Don't tell me that we're going to start having streaming problems. Oh, that's just what I need tonight. Streaming problems. Well, let's keep our fingers crossed we don't have any freeze-ups. 703. Oh. 703 and no live audience. And we're broadcasting on 2 platforms. Yep, that's what it's showing. 2 platforms. We're ready to... All right, let's hope the music... From the WDWL TV Multiplex, live from the Red Studio #1. With great anticipation, we bring you the pride of the station, the grumpy old man, and, the grumpy vulture. Would you like to take your bow? Take your bow. A little fast, but okay. Back in your corner. Oh, what happened? Did they repossess one of your disco lights? Oh, evidently, he must not have made the payment. Well, it's like the old days. The golden microphone has returned. Hopefully the volume isn't too loud. And going back 3 years, the original headset with lighting. I thought that this got lost in moving. I really did. And I happened to open a box of cables because I needed a cable for the golden microphone. What is sitting on top of the box? The original headset that I started with 3 years ago. eBay, $14.95. And it lights up. I was elated because I said this way we can have the original golden microphone and the original headset. How does it sound? Too loud? Because it's hard to tell just through the headset. Now, through the headset, the volume sounds okay. I don't know if it's too loud, not loud enough. See, that's another problem. When you use an XLR microphone with that converter, every microphone has to be adjusted differently. It's not like the USB. Good. It actually feels good to be looking at this cheap microphone. It amazes me. This sounds as good as the $100, $200 microphones. Made in China on top of it. Yeah, this is what I started with. A bottom of the line bargain microphone and bargain gaming headset. Because this is one of those that the gamers use. It has the built-in microphone. The gamers use this kind of shit. I'm glad it folds up out of the way. So, how's daughter doing? Better today? It seems like everywhere I go, somebody is either sick or getting over being sick. Today, when I went up to Save-A-Lot, as I was checking out, my favorite cashier up at Save-A-Lot asked me, she goes, "Where have you been?" I said, "Well, I've been, unfortunately, going to Aldi's." And she just looked at me And I said, I finally gave up. I can't take shopping at that store anymore. So I asked her, I said, how have you been since I haven't seen you? She said, 3 weeks ago, she said, I was so goddamn sick. Some kind of stomach bug. She said she couldn't even keep water down. So there's shit going around. And I've got to get back to wearing my mask. I'm basically begging for trouble. With as much crap that's going on, I've got a shitload of them. As a matter of fact, what the hell are those? Oh God, what do they call them? You put them over your head and then you pull them up. They look like something a bank robber would use. What the hell do they call them masks? I've got 3 brand new ones. I can't remember what they call them. Instead of it putting over your ears, you put it over your head and then you pull it up. I can't think of the name of the thing. What do they call them goddamn things? Now it's going to drive me crazy. I bought 3 of them. They were 4 for $1. I buy 3, 1 in each color. And I can't think of the name of them. You put it on, and then you pull it up. I can't think of what the hell they call them. I've got them in the truck. As a matter of fact, even though the RAV4 isn't running, I put one on the dash of the RAV4. I can't think of what the hell you call them. Now, I do have the regular mask that goes over your ears. I've got a bunch of them that my son gave me from Amazon. But these, you pull them down over your head, and then you pull them up. I can't think of what the hell. Come on, Kathy, you know what I'm talking about. What do they call them? It's like a bandana, but you don't tie it. You pull it down like a turtleneck. And then you pull it up, and it covers your nose and your mouth, and it's like down to here because it's around your neck. What the hell do they call them goddamn things? No, not a ski mask. Oh, Jesus Christ. As a matter of fact, I've got one on my dresser. I moved it before. I should have looked at it. It's not a mask. It's round cloth, and you pull it over your head, and then you pull it up, and it covers this whole area. Whatever. I've got 4 of them. Not to mention regular masks. I mean, I got all kinds of masks. I quit wearing them. They're not bandanas. They're something like a bandana. I can't think of what the hell the name of it is. It looks like, when you wear it, it looks like a bandana, but you don't tie it. It's like back in the day. Remember they called, what was it, a dickie? It looked like a fake turtleneck. You put this thing on, and then you pull it up. And then if you want to quit using it, you just push it down, and it just hangs around your neck until you take it off. That'd be a trivia question we'd lose at. I can't think of what the hell they call them damn things. I'm going to have to go grab one at this rate. I can't think of what the hell the name of it is. There, that. I knew you'd get it. I knew you would get it. A balaclava. I wasn't giving up on you. I knew sooner or later you would come up with it for me. I've got 4 of them. I question myself. Why do I buy them if I'm not going to wear them? And I should be wearing them with everybody I know getting sick. You know, part of it is weather change, not to mention, you know, every time you hear a news story, it's, you know, another variation of the goddamn vaccine virus. I read an article the other day that said we will never get rid of this because it constantly mutates. Like right now, it's like the 10th mutation. It's like N1-6QJ7. They don't even give it a name like COVID anymore. But they said we will never get rid of it. And for every strain of mutation, they have to come up with a new a new shot. So we are never going to be done with this virus. Never. Because now, with this new mutated strain, the shots that everybody got back in the day, they have to now formulate a new vaccine. And like I've said all along, one of the reasons I did not join everybody and go get a shot was because the vaccine was never fully tested. They do research. Like, say they're working on a new pain medication. They do 10 years worth of research. That's why a lot of drug companies don't want to work on new vaccines. Because it takes so long to test it that they just lose money. But we will never be done with it. I just pray that we don't have another pandemic. Although it was interesting seeing New York City, all the streets empty. I remember them photos. Times Square, empty. As a matter of fact, one of the streets, there was a fucking balloon blowing down the middle of the street. No, because it wasn't fully tested. They developed it so fast. They did like a couple of months worth of testing, and they were like, well, let's see, side effects, okay, we'll give it to everybody. Look how many people had bad reactions. And like my poor neighbor, she got the injection, she got the booster, and then she ended up getting the virus. That just showed you right there. Neither of them vaccines were proven or tested enough to know that they just assumed they were going to work on everybody. And it didn't. And look how many people had bad reactions. So that was reason one. Reason two was, it's a fucking needle. Oh, my shopping list. I can throw this away now. Yeah, I was talking to the manager up at Save-A-Lot. Because even he asked me, he said, where have you been? Because I would be there at least once a week. And I told him, I I've been shopping at your competitor, Aldi. He says, why are you here? I said, because I am sick and tired of spending an hour trying to find one item in that store. And he just kind of looked at me, and I said, in this store, I know where everything is. In Aldi's, at least the store up the street, if there's an empty space, they just put merchandise there. So you'll have laundry detergent, chocolates, bleach, fabric softener, soup. I can't take shopping there. I love the prices. I can't take shopping that place because there's no semblance of order whatsoever. There's only three sections of that fucking store that are the same every time you go in. That's fruit and vegetables, lunch meat, and assorted, and then eggs, milk, cheese, not cheese, eggs, milk, butter. Back here, it's lunch meat and cheese and fresh meat. Those are the only three areas of the store that are the same every time you go in. As far as the aisles, if coffee was in aisle 1 last week, it'll be in aisle 7 this week. Most stores, 99.9% of the stores have what they call a planogram. It's a diagram of the store showing you how to lay out merchandise. Aldi's doesn't operate that way. That don't bother you, having to look all over the place for something? Oh, it drives me fucking insane. Like Save-A-Lot. I can go in blindfolded. I know where the coffee is. I know where the soup is. I know where the spices are. I know where the cereal is. Aldi's, nope. The same item is not in the same place every time you go in the store. Now, maybe it's this store. I'm going to have to go to the one on 117th in Lakewood. And go there like for a month and see if they do that like this store up here. The one, where the old Kmart was at 150th and Lorraine. Oh, not me. Oh, no. I'm not that kind of shopper, Kathy. I make a list, and I'm in and out. Bing, 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 bing. Very rarely do I wander around like a lost sheep looking at stuff. if I've got 5 items on the list, I'm out of the store in 15 minutes. That's like I was talking to, well, her name is Jessica, the cashier. And I says to her, aren't you going on like 8 years? And she says, yeah, I'm coming up on my 8th year. The manager chimed in and said, I wish I had a dozen like her. The girl is early for work every single day, hardly takes a break, and volunteers for overtime or if somebody calls off. And he said, unfortunately, since she came back from being sick for almost a week, she's been working 7 days because the 4 employees that he hired worked to get their first paycheck, and none of them came back. Matter of fact, he said one of them worked 2 days and told him, I quit. The work is too hard. An 18-year-old putting merchandise on a shelf. That work is too hard. He told me, he said, Jessica is a rarity today. He said, he wants to make her assistant manager, and she's like, oh, geez, no. Matter of fact, he told me the 4 days she was off, the first time in 8 years. She don't even take vacation. The girl just loves to work. I says to him, I said, maybe you could have her cloned. But that's a rarity today. I stopped in at Family Dollar, and it was the manager, the assistant manager, and one employee. He said they've been working 3 people to that store for the last 3 weeks because nobody wants to work. Oh, yeah. Yeah. They want a paycheck just for showing up. They have the attitude like, well, I'm here. I have to do something? Oh, no. And he said they won't get off their goddamn cell phones. And it was sad because he said corporate had to change the rules because originally you were not allowed to have a cell phone on the sales floor. And then they had so many complaints and so many threats of lawsuits that they had to change it to allow these little assholes to have their cell phone I think cell phones should be kept in lockers. You can have your cell phone at lunch. When you come back for lunch, put your cell phone back in the locker. You'll get it at the end of the day. I don't know how many times I've come up to a register to check out, and I have to wait while they finish their fucking text message or FaceTime call or... That was another reason I haven't been in Family Dollar in quite a while. I get tired of the bullshit. I have to wait for you to finish a text message when your job is to check me out? Oh, no. No. I miss this microphone. It looks good. Gold. I have one that's silver. It's silver here and blue at the bottom. But I have two like this. The original is still wired up over in Studio One. This was the backup, an emergency backup. I think I'll use it. I'll use it for a couple of weeks. I miss it, like an old friend. Yeah, when the weather started to change and I couldn't use a GoPro, well, I could have. I mean, I could have come in the house and sat at my desk with a GoPro. And my buddy's grandson said, well, it's so easy. You just got to buy a camera and a microphone. I said, yeah, then what? Well, instead of uploading from your GoPro to YouTube, you can do it live. I said, really? So, an 11-year-old showed me. Here's how you do YouTube Live. I was like, hey. So, I went on eBay, ordered golden microphone and cheap headset. And that's how I started. With the microphone, I'm saying. We know we started with the GoPro. And then I went crazy. Oh, I need a mixer. I need an interface now. I need more microphones. I needed a real studio. Yeah, old Grumpy went bonkers. Actually, it wasn't really a studio. It was the second bedroom in the house that basically I was using for a lot of storage. So in a lot of the early videos, you'll see I had an old bedspread covering it, all of the boxes up behind me. And I was sitting at a desk with talk about my first camera was like $7. Really crappy, you can tell. And then my buddy's grandson said, buy a better camera. I was like, oh, okay. And I bought this Logitech. And I'll tell you what, I have probably 6 cameras. And they're not cheap. It proves one thing. Price does not always mean quality. This Logitech camera was like $28. I got it on sale. It was originally 50 something. And Logitech came out with a newer camera and they had these on sale. And I've been so happy with this one. Even though I bought better cameras, they're not really that great of picture quality. So they're in the cupboard, collecting dust. I've got one. It's an AI camera. It's supposed to follow you every time you move. It worked for about a week, and it quit following me. It's in the box, in the cupboard. I have 2 cameras that I got from my buddy. Not cheap. Neither one of them will work with Prism. They'll work with YouTube. They'll work with Facebook. They won't work with Prism. So, they're in the cupboard. Oh, yeah, Kathy, definitely. A lot of times, you're just paying for the name. And the name, no quality. Perfect example, my RCA TV. I paid for the name and got shit. And I've heard so many people. Now, my 35-inch LG that I use currently now to watch local news. That TV is 15 years old. I have heard more people say LG is crap. Yes, certain items, like their large appliances, mainly their refrigerators. I've heard more complaints about LG refrigerators and LG ranges. But as far as that TV, it works just as well as the day I bought it. And I almost gave it away. And same thing with the, let's see, the LG is 45 inch. The LG is a 45 because it's almost as big as my 50-inch Samsung. The Magnavox is 35. The Magnavox is almost 20 years old. Works perfect. And you would think the RCA would have been top notch because RCA used to be number one in the world. Of course, we're talking 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Not today. Although I would guarantee probably 75% of the TVs on the market today are all made in the same factory. Like back in the day, Whirlpool, no, GE, Kenmore, I'm trying to think the third TV. They were all made in the same assembly line. GE, Kenmore, not Maytag. I can't remember the third TV. I had read an article years back, and they showed them. They were getting ready to box them for shipping, and here was a GE, a line of GEs, and then a line of Kenmores, and they were all built in the same factory. And people are like, oh, I'm not going to buy a Kenmore. I don't really trust it. I'll buy a GE. Same goddamn washer, just a different name. No, GE, Kenmore, Whirlpool. Because Maytag was all by itself, different factory. Because back in the day, Maytag was the Cadillac of appliances. rich people had Maytag. But GE, Kenmore, and Whirlpool, up until the 80s or 90s, were all the same goddamn machine. Just a different name. The guts inside were identical. I learned that when I needed a part for my washer back in the 90s. The girl told me all three had the same part number. All three, GE, Kenmore, Whirlpool, the part that I needed, all three of them it was the same part number. Maytag was a different factory altogether. But GE, Whirlpool, and Kenmore were all made on the same assembly line. The only difference was the top. When they put the top unit on that had the timer and the dials, that was the only difference. Everything else was the same machine. And a lot of people didn't know that. So, and today, it's a crapshoot what you buy. It really is. I just pray my LG washer gives me at least 10 years. Fingers crossed. If I get 10 years out of it, I'll be happy. Goddamn thing. It's got me all screwed up for doing laundry. Because it takes a goddamn hour to do a load. Where before, 22 minutes. I get so pissed off. Like tomorrow, I've got to do laundry. I would like to do 2 loads. I don't want to be doing laundry all day. And I don't want to be doing laundry every single day of the week. Now, I know, do a load, put it in the dryer, do another load, put it in the dryer. You know how many times it's up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down? At this age, you don't want to keep going up and down steps. I don't need no bionic hip. Yeah, I thought Jenny would join us by now. Although it was good to know that Wyatt is feeling better. I was happy to hear that yesterday. I hate hearing when people don't feel well. I really, I worry about them. If I don't hear from somebody, even for them to pop in and say, hey, I'm busy, I'm just stopping in to say hi. "99.9% of your YouTubers could care less. I worry about my peoples. Although I would like to see the subscribers go to 87 or 88. Been kind of in a lull here at 86. I was really hoping that I'd be at 100 by now. I was watching an interview program on YouTube, and I can't remember. They mentioned a YouTuber. The guy has 14 million subscribers. 14 million. And it's a hunting, fishing channel. 14 million. And the funny thing is, the guy used to be an attorney. And he gave it up to do this hunting and fishing program on YouTube. And he makes more money doing a YouTube show than he did as an attorney. I'm like, it must be nice. I would love to see a YouTube check every month for like a couple of grand. Then I could buy my Japanese mini truck. The guy finally gave up. He don't email me anymore. He figured, well, he ain't buying. I'll move on to somebody else. Damn it. I really wanted that mini truck. Although I'm starting to get a little nervous. I thought I would hear about the Passat by now. Although he probably hasn't even got all the shit probated yet. I don't know what's going on. I don't see his son. I know his son picked up the mail the other day, or the other night. I looked across the street and the mailbox was empty. I made him an offer on the Passat. I thought he'd be calling Although if he don't have a title, can't do anything anyway. So, but I would like to hear from him and say, okay, we got a deal when I have the paperwork. Because I want to check the car out. If it's got if the clutch is good, we're okay. If the clutch is bad, it's going to go to the boneyard. And I hate to see a manual transmission vehicle go to the boneyard. Not to mention that Passat would bring back memories. Because one girl I dated for a while had one. A blue one. And she would let me drive it. Because when you come down to it, a Volkswagen Passat is technically an Audi A4. Hey, Wyatt buddy! We got the golden microphone. What I started with, the cheapie. Well, this isn't the one. This is the spare. The original is still over in Studio One. I cobbled this one together so I could use it for the show. Now watch me screw everything up. I'll show you how we got this thing. See? There's the converter right there. That converts XLR to USB. This little thing produces 48 volts. Because XLR microphones are powered by 48 volts. Oops! Nothing like hitting the light above my head. Now let me get it back in the mount. Careful, careful. There we go. The golden microphone. Oh, oh, oh. Yeah. I used this cheapie for almost 3 years. 2.5 years using the cheapie. And never a problem. But did you notice something? Did you notice something? One hour. 1 hour. And we went to the reverb. So it's not the microphone. It's something in Prism software. It's got to be. I started at 702, 804, echo. Yeah, it went 1 minute. I don't know what the hell's going on. I really don't. It proves it. It's not the microphones. Because this cheap thing don't have any adjustments on it. I was watching the clock, Kathy. I was going to see if we were going to make it through a show without an echo. It's got to be something in Prism software. It's got to be. Unbelievable. I don't know, but, well, what I'm going to do, maybe over the weekend, I'm going to do strictly on YouTube. I'm going to go back to the way I started. I will not log into Prism at all. I'll just log into YouTube and do a show like I used to. And we'll see what happens. I doubt we will have any audio problems. Although, without testing it, I don't know. I doubt it, because I never had this problem before. As a matter of fact, I didn't have this problem on Prism until the update 3 months ago. Now, what I'm going to do tomorrow, I'm going to uninstall Prism completely. And then reinstall it and see what happens. And if I keep getting this damn echo, I will do strictly one platform, YouTube only, and see what happens. It just gets irritating. Whatever this glitch is, it just irritates the shit out of me. That I can't figure out why it's doing it. But it's obvious it's not the microphone. Because it never happened with this cheapie. Never. So, I guess I'll be doing the show with 2 tin cans and a string. you know, I watch like the interview I watched earlier today. It was 3 hours. And the guy, he had no problem. Now, I doubt if he was using Prism. But in order for me to use any other streaming software, I need help. I'll be the first one to admit it. I would need somebody sitting right here showing me. Because I've downloaded Restream. You see it all the time. Restream, Restream. Same thing, StreamYard, StreamLab, Stream something. I couldn't figure out how to use them. So I think Saturday or Sunday, I'm just going to do strictly on YouTube like I did before. I am not in any way, shape, or form going to use Prism or Facebook. I'm just going to go back to the old way and see what happens. Because it's getting aggravating. Hopefully by the weekend my other 2 backgrounds will be here. I can't wait. Or the green ones. I can't wait for those either. Although the green ones are like a one-time only. Because once you get past the shock effect, to use them day after day, nah. But the other 2 red studio ones, I can't wait for them to get here. I have a sneaking hunch the greenies are going to be here before the red studios. Matter of fact, I think the last of the 3 greenies is going to be here first. Yeah, I wanted to do them in order, where you have the one kind of big one, and then the kind of smaller greenie, and then the really cool one. But like I say, they're like, use them once, the effect is over, put them away. Where with the studio ones, you can use them all the time. But I can't wait for the green ones to get here. When you see them, you're going to know for sure. I lost my mind. You're going to look at those and go, oh, geez. Good thing he's seeing a shrink. Although, by the next shrink appointment, I should have all of my t-shirts. And then I'm going to have to figure a way of, I'm going to have to wear a jacket. Because I guarantee if I walk through the hospital, they'll throw me out. So I'm going to have to wear like a light summer jacket. And then when I get in my shrink's office, what do you think of this shirt, Doc? Like the one that says, that's Mr. Asshole to you. Yeah, I've got the one that says, I'm the nicest asshole you'll ever meet. And then yesterday, I forgot to show it to everybody. I got the one that says, that's Mr. Asshole to you. Kind of cool. Although I'm waiting for the anger management one to get here. It says, I don't need anger management. I just need people to stop pissing me off. Uh-oh. A lot of them shirts, I guarantee if I wore them out in public, would really get some comments. I did order one more. I couldn't pass it up. It says, the more people I meet, the more I understand serial killers. It was only $4. I couldn't pass it up. I got more goddamn offensive t-shirts. Why didn't they have all these t-shirts when I was like in my 20s? No. Although, being a senior wearing them, people stay the hell away from you. Get away from him. I wonder where Jenny is tonight. I thought she'd be here by now. Although I knew that you'd be here, Kathy, because you were waiting for this. The golden microphone. Yeah, it brings back memories when I first started behind a camera. Well, sitting at a desk behind a camera. Because, I mean, I did have a camera when I was sitting in a lawn chair. My neighbors thought I was nuts. They'd be looking around like, who's he talking to? Because the GoPro was so small, you didn't see it. I'd be talking away. And I remember seeing the neighbor next door looking. Who the hell's he? Because she didn't see a cell phone. She was looking like, I don't see anybody. He's talking to himself. Oh, geez. Oh, man. We don't want cigarette ashes on the new chair. I am going to order one more. Although, I don't think I'll order a green. I'm debating right now between gray and blue. Although maybe it'll go on sale. Every now and then these gaming chairs all go on sale at Walmart. Maybe I can get this one cheaper. Because I do want one for Studio One. And get rid of that crappy desk chair I've got over there. The desk chair that is over in Studio One came out of a dumpster when I worked for the county back in the 70s. That's how old that chair is. Yeah, I said to the security guard, can I... He said, help yourself, they're throwing them away. The dumpster was full of desk chairs. Because if you remember, they passed a law that said chairs had to have 5 legs. That one is an old 4-leg. Remember when they passed the federal law? Because they said the 4-leg chairs tipped over too easy. So they went to 5. That's a 4. That's how old that son of a bitch is over there. I've never fallen over in it. It's only got 4 legs. Every county office, they cleared every chair out of the building and threw them in the dumpster. There wasn't a damn thing wrong with them, except they had 4 legs and they were deemed unsafe. I remember I was over in the courthouse at the time because I had moved from the title bureau over to the courthouse. And one night at the end of work, they came in and took every chair out of the department and threw them in the dumpster. And the next morning, we had brand new 5-leg chairs. I've never fallen over. I think I brought that chair home in like 75, 76, something like that. I've never fallen over. But because somebody fell over, no more four-leg chairs. If you notice today, everything, even those goofy stools the doctors sit on, five legs. It was scary to think how much money went to a landfill. Dumpster's full. I remember the dumpster was full. They took it away. They brought it, and you were talking city, county, state, and federal buildings. All of them. Think of the taxpayer money wasted. Because everybody had to conform. City, county, state, federal. Because they had four legs. And somebody fell over and probably sued. Some greedy bastard. Oh, I fell over because the four-legged chair. It was sad seeing dumpsters full of perfectly good office chairs go to the landfills or some recycling center where they crushed them, because even office equipment stores couldn't sell four-legged chairs. Yeah, I remember security telling us before we left, take your coats off or sweaters or whatever you got hanging on your chair. Take it off. Otherwise, it's going out in the dumpster. And they were just rolling them out until that section of the floor was empty. And then they out in the dumpster. Like I say, at 4:30, we left with four-legged chairs. At 8:30 the next morning, we had five-legged chairs. And what was really sickening were those big padded leather judges' chairs to go out in the dumpster. And you know the judges get them nice big, big high wing back so that they can take a nap during a trial. Anything that had four legs, gone. because the security guard that gave me the chair said, make sure you take it right home. I didn't see nothing. And there it is, over there. Studio One. Grumpy's illegal desk chair. I have never even come close to falling over. And I used that thing on carpeting. I didn't have chair pads for the longest time. I really ruined some carpet though. But even on carpeting, I never even come close to falling over. All that wasted money. But you know, that's typical. Look at the government waste that goes on daily. And think of how much every city, state, federal gets spent for gloves. Because everybody has to use them. Every single police car has boxes of gloves. Because you don't dare touch anybody today without a glove. Look at the wasted money there. Every single emergency vehicle, whether it be law enforcement, EMS, fire, boxes full of gloves. Yeah, you're right, Kathy. It's very easy for me to waste your money. I drove past the police station the other day, and they had the hatch open on one of the police cars, and there had to be a case of gloves in the back end of that car. And every cop has gloves. As a matter of fact, they make pouches now that go on the duty belts that hold, I don't know, 5 pair of gloves, 10 pair of gloves. Or they put them in their pockets on their vest. Every law enforcement office, every EMS person, and every fireman has gloves. Take that price of one box of gloves across the United States. It used to be just hospitals and EMS. Now, every single law enforcement officer, every police cruiser has to have gloves. And then boxes of gloves ain't cheap. Talk about waste. Oh, God, don't get me started on wasted tax dollars. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, you can justify hospitals and EMS. I have no problem with that. None whatsoever. But watch any video, like, I watch my interrogation videos at night, and they show going into the crime scene or arresting somebody. First thing, put on gloves. Police go to arrest somebody. Wait a minute. Put on your gloves. Ridiculous. Not to mention, with the inception of the forensics units, look at the waste there. Because anybody in a forensics unit has to put on a moon suit. So besides the gloves, they got the disposable moon suits. And every forensics investigator has to have a moon suit. That, believe me, Kathy, that issue has been debated year after year after year. Yeah, but they say, why should the first purchaser get penalized? That's their argument. But every time a car changes hands, tax, 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 tax. Or any motor vehicle, car, truck, motorcycle. Yeah, every time it gets sold, tax. Like you say, that has been debated for years. Yeah. Not a face you want to stare at for a long time. I'll tell you what, I have argued that with the division of tax, and you argue till you're blue in the face. Because they just look at it as a sale. Not that that vehicle might have changed hands 20 times. It's a sale. The sale is taxed. Yes, it stinks. It really does. Like, you know, when I bought the shit box, the girl put $100 because, like she said, I don't agree with this tax either. So I had to pay $8 because it's $8 for every 100. And then the title fee, and it's bullshit. But like I say, the argument has always been, why should the first purchaser be the one to take the hit? And they just call it a sale. It's a sales tax. But yeah, if a car changes hands 20 times in its lifetime, it's taxed 20 times. It's bullshit. Utter bullshit. Now, like with the RAV4, Marianne gift. And she had to write a letter, you know. So that's the only way you beat the tax. Gift. But she did give it to me. She wouldn't take a dime for it. Here, have a car. All right, it was 25 years old with 212,000 miles. And it's sad, every day I look out the back window and there it sits. Soon as the weather gets better, I've got all the parts. I've got everything. I just have to get good weather. I miss that car. That little thing was fun to drive. You know, it's surprising. When you're inside, how much room is inside that little car? It's amazing. I love that RAV4. It really breaks my heart that I can't drive it. Not to mention that big door on the back. That's what I like. The whole ass end opens up. That big door. And then I'll tell you what, that big door has come in handy loading large items, because the whole ass end of that thing opens up. And then you fold the seats down and I can't remember what the hell I brought home for a friend of mine. It was a big box. I can't remember. It was a lawnmower. And that big ass box barely fit. Then I was able to, I had to bungee cord the door because the box was so fucking big. But that's the cool thing I like about it. The whole ass end just opens up one big giant door. God forbid a hinge should ever break. But it's a neat little toy. I like it. Not to mention, it's a manual. That's why I'm keeping my fingers crossed for the Passat. That nothing really major. A bunch of minor shit. That don't bother me. Long as there's like a clutch, that'll screw the deal right there. Or if it's got a serious engine problem. See, the problem was, Jim was always so vague about everything. Well, you know, the back window on the door don't work right, and the sunroof, and it's got some other electrical shorts. And I'd ask him, like, what? Oh, they're minor. The car has been sitting for 5 years. Although, you had to know Jim. He'd buy something, and it would be, I'll work on it later. Later never came. And the poor Porsche, oh God. The Porsche has been there 10 years. I found that out. It's been sitting in that one spot 10 years. Of course, it's got 10 years worth of mold on the leather seats. That's sad. I would love to have that one. I don't even want to open the door. All that mold. I don't need to breathe that shit. Matter of fact, when they scrap it, I'm gonna tell the tow truck driver, don't open the doors. You're liable to end up in the emergency room with breathing problems. That car will just go right to the crusher. I don't see a boneyard putting that thing out for parts. I really don't. Unless, like, they pull the engine and transmission out of it without opening the doors. least the Passat is okay. I've looked it over real well. And I love the metallic jade green. Nice color. I'll tell you what, that car will buff out really nice. I can't wait to put the buffers to it with the paint cleaning compound. I'll make that car shine like brand new when I get done with it. I've got all kinds of detailing buffers. Fingers crossed. I'd like to know when his son showed up. It had to be at night. Because I know it was like 7 o'clock. I came home from the store. I backed in the driveway, and the mailbox was jam full. And then yesterday morning, the mailbox was empty. It all depends on when he goes through and pulls out my letter. We start negotiating. I'm just going to tell him, hey, come on, let me save one more manual transmission car. And the strange thing is, his son don't know how to drive a manual. Here his father's got a shitload of manuals. Well, he's got 3 here and 8 over at his other house. I'm hoping his son tells me where the other house is. I'd like to go over there and look and see what's over there. It'd be neat if, like, there was an old Volkswagen Beetle. Oh. I'd love to get my hands on one of them again. That's what I learned to drive on. A 68 Volkswagen Beetle. Robin's Egg Blue. That was a neat little car. A lot of them got turned into dune buggies. Well, I think it's outro time. It's getting to be that bewitching hour. Let's see if the tablet's going to cooperate. Wow, it did. It's that magic time. We know where, right here. WDWL TV. 7 p.m. until 8 p.m. and then the Echo joins us. All right, everybody. Thanks for being here. It was another fun night. And we will meet again right here tomorrow night with the golden microphone. And with that, have a wonderful rest of your evening. And I'll see you tomorrow. See ya.